The Yuuzhan Vong were an extragalactic species that invaded the known galaxy in 25 ABY. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video about if the Vong invaded the galaxy during the Great Galactic War of the Old Republic era before the sacking of Coruscant. In this video, I'll be continuing the series of if the Yuuzhan Vong invaded the galaxy at different points in the expanded universe's galactic history. Today's video will be about if the Vong invaded during the Galactic War, which took place after both the Great Galactic War and the Cold War between the Old Republic and Sith Empire. The Galactic War was fought between the Republic, Sith Empire, and later on the Eternal Empire, which was a third faction to dominate the galaxy and capitalized on the constant warfare between the Jedi and the Sith in the Republican Empire. Eventually, the Eternal Empire's onslaught would cause the Republican Empire to be defeated by the Eternal Empire, which became the dominant galactic hegemon and oversaw the near-complete annihilation of the Republican Sith Empire. But eventually, after about 5 years, the Eternal Empire's rule of the Republican Empire would see both former enemies allying together against the Eternal Empire and defeat them before resuming hostilities against one another. The Yuuzhan Vong invasion is coming at a time where the galaxy is already in a state of mass militarization and conflict. Additionally, to make things a little more interesting, the Vong invade during the Eternal Empire's initial onslaught against the Republican Sith Empire. The Yuuzhan Vong forces are relatively weaker than they were compared to when they actually invaded in 25 ABY, as this is over 3,600 years before the Battle of Yavin, and the Vong fleets are still penetrating the galactic barrier into the known galaxy, so their forces are spread pretty thinly and have terrible logistics, yet they still have a sizable and powerful force. Now in one corner is the Old Republic, whose strength at this point has been pretty weakened due to fighting against the Sith Empire for almost a decade. The Republic has been facing the Eternal Empire at the same time as the Sith Empire. The Eternal Empire was devastating to the Republic and its strength was greatly weakened. However, the Republic still have Jedi and what was left of their dwindling Republic forces. The Republic isn't a minor belligerent, but they are essentially a shell of what they once were. In another corner is the Sith Empire, which conversely has been fighting against the Republic for almost a decade as well. The Empire is pretty much in the same boat as the Republic. The Empire has lost much of its territory and much of their military forces to the Eternal Empire's onslaught after the years of devastating conflict with the Republic. While the Empire still has a military force and Sith warriors, the Empire is essentially a paper tiger. In the third corner, you have the Eternal Empire, whose military strength is at its strongest point, with their onslaught beginning as the Yuuzhan Vong invades. The Eternal Empire has scored many victories against both the Republic and Sith Empire, led by Emperor Valkorion's sons Archon and Thexon. The Eternal Empire's military forces were mostly automated and was largely skeletally consisting of mostly the royal family, with very few organics being, which were the Eternal Knights of Zakul and conscripts who would eventually be phased out. The Eternal Empire was very hostile towards all factions in the galaxy, as Valkorion was aiming to accomplish the rule of one before Palps and Darth Krayt made it cool. I feel like the early course of this war will have the Yuuzhan Vong attacking the Eternal Empire, as their offensives against the Republic and Sith were quick and decisive, so it's probably safe to assume that the Vong entry into the known galaxy immediately puts them into conflict with the Eternal Empire first. The Eternal Empire is forced to halt their attacks against the Republic and Sith Empire, as the Yuuzhan Vong offensive presents a larger threat to Valkorion's empire. The Vong can make initial gains against the Eternal Empire, but both sides will soon enter a stalemate for now. At this point, the Galactic War is between mostly four main factions, with minor belligerents as well, but mostly it's between these four. The Yuuzhan Vong likely see the Eternal Empire's use of non-organic forces such as robotic sky troops and the automated ships as their greatest enemy in the galaxy, and only focuses on destroying the Eternal Empire fleet first. The Republic and Sith Empire are probably gonna form an early Eternal Alliance devoted to defeating the Eternal Empire, as they are busy with the Yuuzhan Vong, so this war will become a three-way conflict. I'd say that the Alliance will have a brief period of recovery as both the Vong and Eternal Empire begin to exhaust their own military forces. I believe that the Eternal Empire would end up defeating the Yuuzhan Vong, but the Alliance would definitely take advantage of the Eternal Empire's exhaustion and overrun the Empire. After the end of the Yuuzhan Vong invasion, the Eternal Empire's reign over the galaxy, I feel like the Republic and Sith are once again going to fight one another, just as they had in actual galactic history. The main difference is that the Eternal Empire hadn't ruled over both factions for a while, and therefore the Third Galactic War will come a lot sooner. Also, the Empire and Republic don't have as friendly relations as they had during that pre-ceasefire period. All of that is, of course, just my opinion. What do you think would have happened had the Yuuzhan Vong invaded during the Galactic War between the Old Republic, Sith Empire, and Eternal Empire? Do you think that the Eternal Empire would join the Republican Empire, or do you agree with my assessment of them still remaining a third party? Write in the comments, and thank you for watching.